Good afternoon, committee members. Welcome to our hearing. It's not a hearing. I'll retract that. We are not participating in a hearing. We're going to have a discussion of 3 bills, and we will be voting on each one of them. So I want to thank you all for coming in this afternoon to hear us as we talk about, as we vote on 3 bills and have a discussion on Senate Bill 426, Procurement Reform Act of 2025. And so, Philip, I want you to talk with us about this bill.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So the first bill on the agenda is Senate Bill 453. This is a bill that is making some clarifying changes to legislation that was passed last year. The statutory provision enumerated a number of clauses for state contracts that the state would not be bound by. The first clarification is related to a prohibition on provisions that limit liability for loss to the state due to loss to the state to property. The bill refines that to clarify that that prohibition applies only to real property or tangible personal property. The second piece is a clarification. There's a prohibition on clauses that limit the state's ability to recover the cost of a replacement contractor. That provision is clarified to note that it would still allow the state to recover the cost of a replacement contractor to the extent that the amounts paid on the contract and the replacement contractor cost exceeded the original contract amount. The statutory provision's only been in effect since October 1, so with regard to any clauses that this would apply to, particularly with the property one, things would just revert back to the way things worked prior to October 1. So those clauses would just be subject to negotiation.
To the committee, do you have any questions that you'd like to pose?
Correct.
So what question could there possibly be? Second.
No, we're going to hold on to this bill, Senate Bill 426.
Yeah, this is 453.
That's not mine. Mine's 453.
We're going to do that one last.
Okay. I wanted to ask questions, if anyone has any questions on Senate Bill 26. I just want to let you all know what the status of that is. We're going to hold on to that bill for further discussion, and then we will get back to you. As you all know, we've been a little concerned about this whole word of procurement. And so we just need to get that clear in our mind as we move forward with this piece of legislation. So we're going to hold Senate Bill 426, and we will come back to have further discussion on the bill and make a decision as to whether or not we are going to agree or disagree. Is that all right? Thank you very much. Now, moving on, we have 3 bills here that we need to make a decision on. We're going to vote on Senate Bill 426.
No, we're holding that.
453, right?
Yes, we're holding that. I'm sorry about that. 453, state contracts, prohibited provisions.
Right. Did somebody make a motion? Senator Corderman, you made a motion? Was there a second?
That was a
Second? Okay. Motion was favorable.
Is there a discussion? Are there any questions? Those who are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The bill, Senate bill, has passed.
Okay.
453. The second is Senate Bill 795, State Procurement Preferences, Blind Industries and Services of Maryland, Packaging and Repackaging.
This bill would add packaged and repackaged janitorial products to the list of products contractor on a maintenance contract with the state must purchase from Blind Industries and Services of Maryland. There's no amendments.
Are there any questions?
There's an existing requirement as a preferred provider to purchase certain janitorial products. This adds packaged and repackaged products to the list.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept Senate Bill 795. Are there any questions? Any discussion? All those who are in favor say aye. Any opposition? Okay, Senate Bill 795 has been passed. Senate Bill 829, State Procurement, Minority Business Enterprise Program, Extension and Report.
Senate Bill 829, this is a bill that would provide an extension for the state's MBE program and the related disparity study reports. Their Department of Transportation did bring to my attention there's a need for a technical amendment. Prior legislation lapsed a provision related to public-private partnerships. However, those are still included in the study requirements that are being extended. So that would be a technical amendment to add that back into the bill.
Are there any questions? Any comments? What is your pleasure?
Move favorable
With the amendment.
with the amendment.
Move favorable with the amendment. Do we get a second here? Okay, this moving properly second that we accept Senate Bill 829 with the amendment. Those who are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone who opposes? All right. It looks like Senate Bill 829 has been passed. Okay,
Back to 426.
okay, so, I'm sorry.
You want to go back to 426?
You want to go back to 426?
Okay. So Senate Bill 426 is the administration's Procurement Reform Act. The bill, I'll just kind of give you an overview now. As the chair indicated, I think the plan, the House has been working on this, so I think the plan is to wait for the House bill and work off of what gets sent over here. But broadly speaking, just as kind of an overview of the bill, it's making a number of changes for procurement oversight, master contracting, the MBE and veteran preference programs, and some payment practices. It's expanding the responsibilities related to the chief procurement officer position, adding that position in a number of places in the bill for oversight of procurement generally. There's clarification on the delegated authority for certain transportation-related services for MDOT and MTA. The bill requires that contracts valued at $1 million or less be reserved for the Small Business Reserve Program. Currently, that program is designated contracts over at $50,000 to $500,000. So the change in the bill would make everything under $1 million. So it'd be increasing and then also removing that floor. The bill adds provisions related to the use of interns and registered apprentices. The bill, as introduced, has some provisions related to a price preference for businesses that obtain certain good labor practices certifications. The bill is also making some changes related to submissions related to MBE participation schedules at the time of the bid proposal and submission, and then also making some adjustments related to when deficiencies are noted, providing an opportunity for those to be addressed between the procurement officer and the bidder. There are changes to the veteran small business program. There is a reserve established for procurements from the Department of Military and Veterans and Military Families and the Military Department. So it's establishing that and also adding consistent provisions to the Veterans Business Program that are found in the MBE program. The bill is requiring for the Small Business Reserve Program, it's setting a target for prompt payment within 15 days of receipt of an invoice. It's not making any changes regarding to interest accrual. The bill is introduced also required the 21st Century Financial Systems Enterprise work group to evaluate prompt payment features. There are revised requirements and procedures for task orders issued under master contracts. The bill authorizes primary procurement units to limit or revoke a unit's ability to conduct small business procurements if that unit is not adhering to the regulations. For master contracting, the bill is requiring bidders and offers to give oral presentations for specified procurements. The bill is establishing conditions under which a procurement officer may approve contract modifications. The bill is also adjusting standards, standardizing various contract value thresholds under state procurement law for small procurement authorization. So instead of referencing the dollar amount, the references will be back to the statute setting that amount. So that should provide more clarity as that amount is altered. The bill is clarifying that pay for success procurement is a contract type but not a source selection. And then there are additional clarifying and conforming changes. In the testimony, there were some issues noted. The Treasurer's Office and Comptroller's Office had expressed some concerns about moving certain authority from the Board of Public Works to be under the Chief Procurement Officer. There were some concerns expressed about the approval process changes for expedited procurements in the bill. Treasurer's Office and Comptroller's Office expressed concerns about the contract modification authority as in the bill. There were some issues or concerns noted about the provisions regarding the good business certification entities. In particular, there was discussion in the House Subcommittee related to the use of non-W-2 workers on certain projects for certain skilled tasks that sometimes sole proprietor or independent contractors are used. There was also some concern noted about provisions related to joint and several liability. And then the comptroller noted that with regard to the prompt payment features within the new updated FEMA system, that's already part of the scope of what they're looking at. And then there were, I think the last item, there were some questions noted about the bill's requirements for apprentices and interns to be used. My understanding is the administration and related agencies have been working with the House Subcommittee. There's some amendments that are being discussed related to addressing some of the concerns that have been raised.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. But yeah, that's kind of the current status. I know if anyone had any questions, I think we have some representatives from the interested agencies here. Or if the committee's pleasure, you can kind of wait and see what the House is working on.
Thank you for that. As you all can see, this bill is meeting with a few concerns, well, more than a few. And I don't think it would be fair to those who have expressed an interest for us to vote favorable or unfavorable on this bill. We have a total of 15 favorables. We have 6 favorables with amendments. Thank you. We have 1 unfavorable. We have 1 with information. 12 who want to do oral presentations, and we have 17 written. So the question before us now is whether or not we should hold and hold this bill and reschedule a hearing for this bill in view of the fact that we have so many people who have expressed an interest in this bill. What is your pleasure? You've heard from the chair, so give me your opinion.
Madam Chair, if I might, before you pursue that, and I appreciate your hospitality in letting me join you today. My interest in this relates to the apprenticeship provisions, because one of the major recommendations of the Apprenticeship 2030 Commission was expanding procurement rules beyond construction to encourage apprenticeships, because under existing law, basically, vendors over a certain amount have to use apprentices, or they have to pay into the state apprentice fund. And so the Apprenticeship 2030 Commission, one of the major recommendations is to expand the incentives for using apprenticeships to other industries, IT, healthcare, get down the list. My question was really for Philip. You made some reference to comments in the House hearing or comments in our hearing, or both?
In the testimony submitted.
Testimony submitted. What was there any testimony submitted around the apprenticeship provisions?
Yeah, there was some testimony just noting whether or not the.
Thank you.
There was some testimony submitted just raising a question as to whether for particular industries there were available number of apprentices and interns for contractors who are interested in bidding to meet that requirement. So I think that was probably the main concern raised, whether the universe of available apprentices and interns to use is sufficient.
I understand, and happy to discuss it when we come back to discussing the bill, but the purpose of those provisions is to expand the supply of apprenticeships. And the bill is drafted. I did go back and look at the text after you and I talked, Philip. It gives the Secretary of Labor and the Secretary of DGS the authority to define which industries will be covered. So that's open-ended. It's not a requirement across the board. And so that discussion of which ones will be covered would be decided under the bill by the departments. So that's fine. That's great for now. Thank you very much. Thanks, Madam Chair. That's all I got.
Why don't we hold this? Can I move that we hold it?
Very, very, very proper. Can we get a second on that? We don't need a second hold. We will hold this piece of legislation, and those of you who came and want to testify on this bill, it's important that you do that, and we will notify you as to when we're going to have the appropriate hearing. It's going to be relatively soon.
They've already testified.
They've already testified, Madam
People on
Chair.
that list have already testified.
They've already testified?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we're going to hold the bill, and then we will have another discussion and vote on it. Thank you all very much.